How are we getting on, folks? Look, it was another poor day on the cards yesterday. Um, an awful lot of disappointing performances, such as the likes of Malone Road. The bumper, I don't really know what to make of it, to be quite honest with you. It was a great ride by the jockey in front, but I don't really know what the jockeys in behind were thinking, letting a horse go a furlong, possibly even a furlong and a half clear. Um, But look, we all make mistakes. We all have good days and bad days. But um, yeah, it wasn't the best of days really. I decided to take the day off for no other reason that it was just flat racing, and the fact that it was absolutely pouring out of the heavens, say the night before, and for a good bit of the day, it didn't really appeal to me for flat racing. An awful lot of favourites won, an awful lot of, I suppose, um, gambles paid off, I suppose, more so than anything else. But we're going to go back again. We've recharged the batteries and we're going to take on Listowel again now tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a few more winners on the boards now tomorrow. And yeah, there's an awful lot of each way horses in this one, an awful lot of big prices. So hopefully, a good few of these will be able to run well. And yeah, it should. I suppose it should be able to pick us up off the ground a little bit and carry into the final day of the festival, I suppose, with a bit of hope that we might come out with a bit of profit. Um, but we may as well crack on and kick things off. The 205, it's the only short price horse of the day. We're going to go with Sleege Dalla, currently trading around 5 to 6. It's had a few decent bumper runs so far this season. I would go to the point that I'd say this horse looks classy. It definitely looks like a very good prospect, and it should be able to take this field. I've had a look through the I suppose list of runners for maybe an option to take it on, but I'm struggling. I would honestly admit I think maybe Shark Cannon's horse, if it gets in, it might, I suppose, cause a bit of a threat. But the fact that it's a reserve, I wouldn't be, I suppose, taking the risk. In my personal opinion, I think this Sleege Dalla will definitely, I suppose, put a very strong test in terms of pace, and if it jumps well, which I'm expecting it to, it should be very hard to beat. Coming from the Joseph O'Brien yard, it should be well primed for this. And I think Joseph has found a very easy opportunity to get off the boards with this horse. Now moving on to the 240, first each way shout of the day, we're going to go with Mary of the Sorrows, currently trading around 8 to 1. Look it's had a few decent runs so far this season. Its last two runs have finished in third place. It wouldn't need to improve a hell of a lot to feature again there today. The fact that it's run fairly considerably already this season, it definitely looks like it's having one of the best seasons it's had. Another small little bit of improvement would, I suppose, see it take this race and see it go over the line. It's coming from a good source with Gavin Cromwell. Young McNamara is possibly one of the best in form claimers in Ireland at the minute, in my personal opinion. And yeah, it should be very hard to beat here down today. Um, well, I say hard to beat. I think it'll definitely run in for a place, but I wouldn't be totally shocked to see Mary of the Sorrows just getting its head in front. Moving on to the 315, we're going to go with the next best of the day. We're going to go with Nibbler's Charm, currently trading around 15 to 2. This obviously is a next best each way. It's a course and distance winner. It was very impressive in Galway during the festival with a wide margin victory. I was completely gobsmacked, to be quite honest with you, seeing it run that day. It ran absolutely unbelievably. Jumped very quick, very economical. It looked, I suppose, a class above, really. Um, the thing that I'm really looking at here, it's had two runs on the flat. It's not really a flat horse, but it's shaken off the cobwebs anyway, and I suppose it's possibly just, I suppose, got a bit of a windbreaker really, and it's coming in here off a nice mark, and it should be able to run very, very considerably. The fact that it's like I said, it's a course and distance winner. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's had 3 runs over hurdles, or 3 wins over hurdles from 10 runs. That's returning just under around 33%, or a little bit below, maybe 30%. 30%, yeah, obviously with 10 from 3, or 3 from 10 runs. But yeah, that's obviously a positive. It should be well primed. Darragh O'Keefe is on board. Darragh O'Keefe is possibly having one of the best Listowels any jockey has had, I suppose, so far. And yeah, it should be well primed. It could be very well hard to beat. And 15-2 or 8-1, whatever price it is, it's madness in my personal opinion. Now moving on to the 350, the biggest prize horse of the day. We're going to go with Doran's River, 33-1. I know Stephen, if Stephen Mahan is listening in, he's probably he's probably shaking his head at me, wondering where am I after coming up with this. But yeah, obviously some of you might know that I used to do a little bit of work with Stephen. I suppose he got me introduced into the racing world and racing scene, and I suppose fed my addiction, I suppose, for horses and thoroughbreds in general. But really and truly, this Doran's River, the most, I suppose, eye-catching thing about it would be its form around Listowel. It's had 3 runs. It's won its bumper. It was third in a maiden hurdle, if I'm not mistaken, and it was fourth last time out when under Stephen Mahan. Most of these were all on soft, heavy ground. I don't think any of them were on good ground, if I'm totally honest. So the horse obviously loves it around here, and he loves it around this stall. Stephen has, I suppose, preached to me that his horses are summer horses and they don't like soft ground, but I think this, I suppose, reads well for Doran's River. Peter Carberry, obviously, I think he's a brother of Paul. He's more famous for riding winners in England and I think France, if I'm not mistaken. I could be totally wrong with that, but I think 33-1 is a crazy, crazy price, and some people are probably looking at me, probably including Stephen, and sort of scratching their head, wondering where I came up with this. But it's more of an interest sake. I didn't hear anything from Stephen personally, and I will hold my hand up and say that I've heard nothing about him. But I think it's well worth considering. Stephen's without a winner for a little while now, and his horses, I suppose, have been running very credibly in behind without just getting their heads in front. But this Doran's River could sneak a place, and I really hope he does, because Stephen has been very, very good to me over the past year. I suppose we've kept on good terms, and we've, I suppose, kept in contact and all that, and he's always willing to give me a helping hand in whatever I do. So I hope Doran's River at 33-1. Stephen, if you're listening in, I hope he runs a very, very good race for you tomorrow. 425, we're going to go with the nap of the day. We're going to go with Crazy Work Devassi at 6-1. Look at this horse is having the form of his life. I've picked it every single run it's ran so far this year. Obviously, we're very unlucky the time it was 33-1 around Kilbeggan when it fell 2 out, when it looked like it had plenty in hand. We, I suppose, made up for losses, or the second last time it ran. I think it was a 6-1 winner, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not 100% sure whether we got at bigger prices or not. That was around Killarney. Darragh O'Keefe was on board, and he won by, I'd say, touching 20 lengths, if not more. He won with plenty in hand. Galway last time out, he made a couple of mistakes. Jumping wise, I think if he didn't make them, he would have came home fairly comfortably. But I'm going to take the chance, and I'm going to nap him up here now today. I think at 6-1, he's a very good price. Obviously, he's at an each way price, so I would hold no grudges with anyone if they decide to back him or not, or back him each way. But I'm definitely very sweet on this Crazy Work Devassi. I think Dara O'Keefe is on board again. Dara is, like I said, having the festival of his life. He's having a great run of it. And I think, yeah, look at, I think he's got a fair old chance here now today. 6-1, great price. If this horse wins, as well as a couple of others placing, it's safe to say that we are very well in the money here now today. 4.55, another each way shout. We're going to go with Shanning at 8-1. I'm, I suppose, sort of in a mixed bag here now with this one. It's a card with a double bumper. I'm not really gone on them, to be quite honest with you. I don't like them too much. An awful lot of these bumpers, like you seen yesterday, just how, I suppose, unpredictable they can become. But this Shanning, I think, is definitely worth taking an each way shout on. Jodie Townend's on board. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jodie is leading the way in the Lady Riders Championship. I could be completely wrong with that now, but I think I seen her. She's on something like 40 points or something like that. I'm not 100% sure how the point system works, but I think she's just ahead of Anya O'Connor. Yeah, look, it looks definitely like the second string here behind Mount Leinster, but I don't really rate Mount Leinster, to be quite honest. I don't see why there's so much hype about it. I think, in fairness, it has run very credibly before, but I think Leopardstown is his track. I think Leopardstown is the track that it likes the most, and I think Leopardstown is the track where it runs the best. Um, yeah, it's a hard one to call. I've seen a few of Willie's second string when Jodie was on board, the likes of Captain Kangaroo and Clonmel, that day when it absolutely hosed up by Patrick's horse that looked or was spoken about in a very high regard. I think that was 16-1 that day. So look at, if you're going to be having it each way, I definitely would be selecting the Mullins horse. Jodie Townend is well able to get the winners, as it's clear to see already. She's leading the likes of Anya O'Connor and Rachel Blackmore in the ladies' title. Um, I would be, I suppose, I wouldn't be surprised to see it out of the frame, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it in it either. And I definitely think Jodie is, I suppose, very much underestimated as a jockey herself. And yeah, I think 8-1 is a very nice price for an each way shout. And finally, last race of the day, the 5.25, we're going to go with another each way shout. We're going to go with Fanor, currently trading around 10-1. This comes from the Garage O'Loughlin Yard. It was 6 last time out, of a rating of around 96 or 92, something along them lines. It ran with very good promise. It was in behind what looks to be a nice enough sort. It's very hard to tell with these bumpers, but I don't think this horse is going to have to improve much to finish a very good race here now today. I think 10-1, look at it, it's a little bit underestimated. Garage O'Loughlin is in great form over the past year, 2 years, whatever length of time he's been training. He's only training a short space of time, but he's managed to land a few nice winners and a few nice races as well. I think this one, it's a hard race to call. The Mullins horse, 13-8 for a horse that's needing a hood first time out. It's worrying. It would be very worrying in my personal opinion. Although, look at Patrick Mullins, I know I harp on a little bit about him, and anytime that I do harp on about him, he doesn't really finish the race the way I'd like him to. But I'm hoping that I reverse the karma on him, and hopefully, look at, he might be able to run in for a bumper double tomorrow. But definitely, I think 10-1 it's a good old shout for each way. But look at, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure to keep liking, sharing, subscribing. For the World of Sport listeners that might be listening in, I'd like to just apologise really personally, because I've tipped up absolute knacks for the past week. Hopefully we'll be able to, I suppose, break the duck now next week and get back on the road and get back to, I suppose, back in winners really, and back in big price winners. But I'm going to leave it there. I leave a link to the website. And yeah, just keep making sure to like, share, and subscribe. The more you like, share, and subscribe, I know it only takes a second, but it really helps me out at the end of the day. As soon as we can push on to get maybe a thousand subscribers, we can look at getting this channel or monetized, or I don't know what way you pronounce it or anything like that. But as soon as that happens, then we can look into, I suppose, getting a few more sorts of videos up on this channel, and maybe, I suppose, organising a few interviews with trainers or visits to gallops or anything like that, and maybe, I suppose, look into purchasing some sort of a camera or something like that, just to make the video quality a little bit better. But I'm going to leave it there anyway, and yeah, look, thanks for listening, and best of luck tomorrow.